Welcome back. So now talking about a second topic, and that is about the business delegation that is comprising representatives of over 40 various companies from the Northern Europe and North Atlantic region. They're conjoined in Islamabad on Monday for the Nordic Pakistan Business Summit. Now, what exactly is this summit about? And this is believed that this is the third summit named Finland-Pakistan Business Summit. Was held after first two were successfully conducted in 2014 as well as in 2015. So this one was the latest one that was held this year. Now we have with us Mr. Wille Eerola, the chairman, Nordic Pakistan Business Summit, in our studio. So thank you very much for taking out your time and being a part of the show. So first of all, tell us exactly about your company and what exactly are they doing in Pakistan? Are they sort of investing here, or what sort of a game plan do you have for this?
Thank you very much. Nice to be here. So basically what Summit is all about is that we are bringing in companies to see Pakistan with their own eyes, because we all know that there's that negative image of Pakistan, also making companies not to come. That's the main thing. And I have learned over my last 15 years with Pakistan that when you actually take a companies in, they will see the market by themselves, then realize that, oh, okay, there might be something in Pakistan that you don't know based on the picture in media. So what we're trying to do is that to bring the companies here, bring the Pakistani companies to meet these companies from the Nordic region face to face, and then do business together. So we did, as you mentioned, we did first Finland-Pakistan Business Summit 2014, then second one 2015, and now we expanded to cover the whole Nordic region, meaning Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Iceland.
Okay. Also Iceland.
Yeah, so there's 5 Nordic countries. And this was now the first one, and the second Nordic Pakistan Business Summit will be already scheduled April 2017.
2017, that's going to be the fourth one.
Yes.
Now, sir, when you talk to various companies, what sort of an idea do you have regarding the investment? And when it comes to investing in Pakistan, obviously, people do compare when you're talking about the entire region, India or Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, for instance, or Nepal, Do you see Pakistan still as a hub of business opportunities where you can come, invest, and also tell us the kind of initiatives the government has recently taken regarding the offerings to the foreign investors in terms of equity, for instance, in terms of sovereign guarantee to their investment, and so on and so forth. Do tell us about that also. How do you feel? And what sort of response you have gotten?
Yes, so first of all, I do think that to get investment, the direct investment to come in the country, you need trade first. Because otherwise the countries don't, the companies don't know about the market. So that's what I'm trying to do. The companies do business together first. So there's trade. So there's recognition that both sides know how to work together, right? So and then comes the investment. So for example, I take one example why we're putting together the Nordic and Pakistan. The absolutely best knowledge and technology, for example, in that clean tech, which means renewable energies, water purification, all those things, that is in the Nordic countries. So the best technology is there. And maybe one of the biggest need for that technology is in Pakistan, in the world. I mean, think about it. You only treat like 1 to 2% of your wastewater. Only 1 to 2%. And then, there's a lot of...
There's a plan in Islamabad, and I'm not sure about that either. That is going on.
So that's the official figure. So for example, that...
But I've understood that water is going to be the real issue. So you mean that the water which we waste can actually be converted into drinking water?
Even drinking water, but the water that you can use for something else.
Okay.
But even for drinking water, that's doable. And the second thing is obvious, the energy side. So, I always say, and this is something I said to the media also yesterday, that together with the Nordic companies and Nordic governments, the Pakistani companies and Pakistani government could make Pakistan the world leader when it's come to totally CO2 emission-free energy production.
Concept of going green.
Yeah, I mean 100% green. I mean the best in the world kind of country. That's also very doable.
When we talk about our energy mix, I mean, we are totally depending on thermal at the moment. We import oil, and luckily the prices are not much higher than $42 a barrel. But still, we can do a lot more. When it comes to hydroelectric power, we used to be depending on that, but unfortunately we couldn't. Coal, though we have the second largest coal reserves in Pakistan, but look at the amount of energy being produced in China, or for instance in India, through coal. But again, it's not clean energy. So that is a concept people are working on. Atomic, very little, unlike Canada or US or France, for instance. Then you come down to the wind energy. Look at Denmark. And I've heard one of the medical companies actually has sponsored. And so the case is with solar energy. I mean, look at the amount of solar energy, solar light we receive every year. Don't you think we need to learn a lot from you where there isn't much light?
Yeah, I think it was funny that you mentioned solar. So when you go up to northern Europe and Scandinavia and Nordic region, yes, as you mentioned, we don't have so much sun in the wintertime, but we have a lot of sun in the summertime, like 24/7. But we have the knowledge there, and so I don't really understand why we would or should not take all the knowledge of Pakistan, actually make Pakistan one of the world leader countries, because the Nordic market is 27 million people, 5 countries total.
That's it.
27 million people. And one of the messages that I've been
giving... And that is less than the population of Karachi, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. so that's what I'm saying to the Pakistani companies, that Pakistani companies don't really realize that there is a market, because traditionally, for certain reasons, Pakistani companies are always looking at the UK market, right? And now recently,
and that's correct,
recently a little bit, Germany and so on. But there's 27 million people in the Nordic region with bigger purchasing power than the whole India.
Imagine.
So why Pakistani companies are not selling more in Nordic region? Because they don't know about it. So there's one of the things why we open.
It's a very important, very important phenomenon. In the when I was doing my MBA, we learned 3 things. Whenever you do a transaction, 3 things need to be there. 1, the product you're selling, and if I'm selling it to you, your willingness, and if you're willing to buy it, plus on top the purchasing power. So interestingly, you're willing to do it. You have the purchasing power, and we have the product. But unfortunately, why can't we synchronize all 3?
But that's what
are the hurdles? What are the hindrances?
That's what we're doing the summit for, because you have to start from the very scratch. That actually putting companies together, because I do believe that companies can do a lot also to support the economy and the development of society. So just recently, I think this is very good move that also for this summit, we got a lot of support from the government of Pakistan, because I also know that there's a lot of people inside the government of Pakistan who more or less gets the point that, okay, there's also some areas in the world outside of China that the Pakistan government and Pakistan should work with. We all know the power of China and sort of the role of that. It's even for other companies, other countries, it's actually big move and great move that the China is supporting Pakistan so much. Why? Because when you're building more and more infrastructure, it actually creates everything else around that.
Absolutely.
So there will be more. So sell this idea that Pakistan is something else that you actually see on the TV.
Primarily, the unfortunate part is about the perception. Mr.
It is all, yeah, I know.
Now talking about these 5 countries, what sort of trade agreements do we have? Like, is it an FTA or a PTA, or where do we exactly stand at the moment?
In terms of investments?
Yes.
So as I said, you need to do trade first to get the investments. If you think all the Nordic countries in Pakistan, Norway has invested a lot.
In form of Telenor?
Yes, that's the thing. But the trade between Pakistan and Norway is very super low. I take an example for Finland. So unfortunately, Finland closed the embassy in Islamabad 3.5 years ago. But what's happened since then, the export from Finland to Pakistan tripled in a couple of years.
Okay.
And last year, the Finland's export overall...
It's about Nokia.
No, it's not Nokia. Nokia is not doing anything. Nokia is not exporting anything from Finland to Pakistan, basically. So what happened last year, you know how the situation is in the European Union. So last year, the Finland's export overall were down by 4%, but Finland's export to Pakistan was up by 78%.
78%, almost double.
Yeah. So what I'm saying that, okay, now we're doing this already for Finnish export to Pakistan, and we're now trying to do that to all the other Nordic countries as well. And at the same time, now it's time to start to support Pakistani export from Pakistan to Nordic. So I said yesterday that, okay, our target should be that we triple the Pakistani export to every Nordic country in the next 2 years.
Okay.
That should be the target, nothing else.
It's a very achievable target also. That's another point. Now, whenever we talk about exporting or importing, for instance, for a layman or anybody, it seems like you need to have $1 billion at least in your account to do a business of that sort. Don't you think that these SMEs in Pakistan, the small and medium enterprises, they have a lot of potential to export various products?
Yes.
The cultural products, as well as you talk about sports goods, or you talk about clothing, for instance, or you talk about gems and jewelry, these kinds of products. Do you think there is a good market to export these products to your area?
There is a good market, and obviously there's also a lot of export going on already. But there's two things. I've been saying this to all my Pakistani friends for over decades, that one of the biggest challenges that Pakistani companies and Pakistani people and the whole Pakistan is having, that you have to learn market yourself. That's the key thing, is that by the end of the day, we all know this is like, it's like paradise in the world, but it's nobody's really knowing about that. You don't exist. That's the modern world of communication.
This is your third visit to Pakistan?
No, I've been like 100 times.
Oh, 100 times. Okay, you've been, but the first time was in 2014?
Yeah, no, the first one, the visit was 2003.
2003. So you're a regular customer.
I am. Thank you.
Now the point is that what difference have you seen in Pakistan during the last 10 years? Are we moving in the right direction?
Yes.
Okay. Now that's a very positive comment. And if so, what else needs to be done in order to really project the potential of Pakistan in its true form and spirit?
I think, we're now sitting in a TV studio, and I think that we have to understand that world is nowadays all about communication.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I have been proposing also to the government of Pakistan is that they should really try to start to understand that if you want to change the image, which will also support trade and investment, you have to do it sort of in terms of communication.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, in addition to everything else that's happening right now, which mostly positive stuff, you need to do that, because otherwise it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's, for example, let's use the Nordic region as an example. What I really think that government of Pakistan should do is that, okay, how about to start this kind of communication strategy, changing the perceptions of Pakistan inside this pretty small area? Because if that works, then you can go with the same tools to Russia or whatever Asian countries or African countries.
Because there's a lot of similarity in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah, in
certain countries.
We are all the same in the Nordic region. So whatever we keep saying about each other, telling jokes about Finns, telling jokes about Swedes and so on, by the end of the day we are all the same. Societies are very same. The education is very same. So if you do that for Pakistan in that region, that the concept of changing perception is something that you can actually copy and take to
changing perceptions and changing perspectives. Now that is the key.
That is the key.
Now, Mr. Wille, another point which it really concerns me. There are 2 points. Let me ask the first question first. When it comes to these sort of hindrances or the red tape concept or the bureaucratic hurdles, what sort of challenges are you facing at the moment when it comes to trade or business or anything of that sort for that matter?
I think that if you take any country like sort of at the same location or spot in the life cycle that Pakistan is having right now, I think there's always some of these hurdles when it comes to trade, for example, that customs to protect the own production or whatever. And so it's not only Pakistani thing. I really think that we should not have any customs or any barriers linked to the export or trade at all, but that's like a dream picture. So I think that's one of the areas that also, because in Nordic, if I think the Nordic side, in Nordic everything works as it is planned. So there's never surprises, right? I think that's one of the things that if you really want to support companies to come and do trade, those kind of rules and everything has to be very transparent, and you can't change the rules. And so
the commercial attaches posted in these countries from Pakistan, do you think they're doing a wise job there? Or do you believe still more needs to be done?
Yes, but still more to be done. That's for sure. But I can tell one example that the embassy of Pakistan in Stockholm, who is also in Sweden, who takes care of Finland as well. For example, I have worked with them very closely just before this summit we had yesterday. And that's a very good example that if you really want to do something, even with very limited resources, you can do a lot. Because
you have to get the job done.
Yeah, it's like in small countries that you don't get 100 or 200 people to come. You invite 12 people to come, and then you explain to 12 people, and then that's
the word of mouth travels.
Exactly.
Actually,
especially in small areas like Nordic region.
Mr. Wille, I wish I had more time, but unfortunately I'm really running out of time. Thank you very much for your presence.
Thank you.
All the best wishes and good luck for your future endeavors, sir. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure.
And that's all we have for this moment. Time for news now. I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, you take good care of yourself. Good afternoon.